But corona, just like the coronavirus is a type of virus, okay? There's lots of different types of viruses out there. Corona, the most recent coronavirus before this one, before COVID-19, was SARS, because I don't think swine flu is a corona, was SARS, or severe acute respiratory syndrome. Basically, the SARS virus was attacking people who had compromised immune systems, and it was causing their immune system to shut down, it was causing their immune system to actually produce a bunch of phlegm and liquid and stuff and store that into the lungs. And so what they believe this doctor in China did, her name is Dr. Xinjian Li, that she's actually been working on the coronavirus stuff with bats and human to human or bat to human transmission since 2003 in China. And her lab that she worked at was in Wuhan, China. Now, there's a lot of mounting evidence that said that she released this. Whether it was on purpose, we don't know. But the government of China has pretty well shut down anybody asking any questions at all. So corona is airborne. Morning, Brian. Corona is airborne, just like the flu. The difference between the flu, though, and corona is that corona is a respiratory infection, meaning that it resembles something very similar to pneumonia, when you get really bad pneumonia, where the lungs actually start filling up. This is why you hear governors like Andrew Cuomo and Governor Greg Abbott and the governor, I'm drawing a blank on his name, from Louisiana, why they're asking for so many ventilators, because that's the only way that they can keep people alive is by actually force feeding their lungs oxygen. And what they found is that if they can get around the first few days of all of it, then getting around the first few days of all of it, then they can actually get them over the hump, and most people survive. Most people survive. It is very scary. What are you talking about? Every day my grandma's getting a call that one of her friends back in New Orleans has passed away. Career vacation broke out. She's very depressed. Man, that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that. And it is scary. You're right. It's scary for all of us. And I think the thing is that, you know, for instance, I went to Walmart yesterday, right? So you put a mask on and you're walking around Walmart, but then only about 50% of people have a mask on. 50%. So that means 1 out of every 2 is not wearing a mask. Now, here's the thing about the masks, though. The masks only protect other people from you, not them. You're not protected from them. So if they don't have a mask on, then they're basically just breathing or putting out the same air that they would, and they can. The problem is this particular virus has a lot of people who are asymptomatic, meaning they have no symptoms of being sick whatsoever, but are still shedding viruses. They're still getting other people sick. Morning, Brian. And so that's been the biggest problem that we've faced is people are walking around and spreading this virus without knowing that they're doing it. And that's why the stay-at-home order has been so oppressive. It's the first time that I can remember we had a stay-at-home order for anything ever, actually. You know, well, yeah, okay, so going back to that, you said exactly that freaks my dad out, completely out, and my aunt has symptoms, but they won't test her. Yeah, so, yeah, it does suck, you're right. So when it comes down to people like your aunt very well could be what's called a carrier for it. And this, you guys took biology last year, so you should know some of these terms. But when it comes down to it, the thing that people have to be most concerned about with this is that they're walking around and spreading it, but they don't know that they're doing it. And that's what makes this so dangerous. In that regard, it's very similar to Ebola, right? But indifferent from, completely different from something like HIV that is only sexually spread or through blood transmission. What are your thoughts on the government what the government is doing. I think the government's doing everything they can do. I think that we were caught a little bit off guard, but then again, the entire rest of the world was caught off guard too. So, you could play politics with this all day and say, well, Trump didn't do this or Trump didn't do that, or, the Democrats wanted to get this out of a bill and blah, blah, blah. I think the best thing they've done so far is send out stimulus checks for people, especially those in like really dire need of money, because a lot of people are losing their jobs right now, man. I'm blessed to be where I am and have a job where I can work from home, still interact with my kids, get stuff graded, watch my own kids. So, I don't know how your parents are even coping with all this. And to be honest with you, I know you guys are stressed out. I know you are. And I feel for you. And I hate that. We have such a close relationship at school where you guys can tell me anything, and it's really weird to sit at home and not see you guys on a daily basis. I just think it sucks. It's terrible. But it is what it is. I mean, it's working. And I think that the craziest thing I heard yesterday was that the state of Texas was going to start opening up some businesses again. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea just yet. And I think that if we open up these businesses and we let people start going out in public, then what's going to happen is you're going to see a resurgence of this infection rate. And this infection rate is not going to be at the plateau. It will go above the plateau because now you're potentially increasing the amount of infection in the environment. Yeah, graduation and prom. I don't know what we're going to do. I guess graduation will be online or at another date. But, I mean, that's a huge deal. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of people being affected by that stuff. Prom, what do? I guess get your dress on and dress in your, dance in your living room with your digital boyfriend or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that looks like. Nobody does because we've never had to do this before. Get this, y'all. Back in 1918, there was this thing called the Spanish flu, right? So the Spanish flu had something like 2 million people, like 1.5 to 2 million people die. Okay? That's a lot of people in 1918. But if you look at the numbers today, I think we surpassed 50,000 deaths in the United States and almost 200,000 or more worldwide. Your prom money. They'll give you back your prom money. If there's not going to be a prom, the district will either send you guys a check or something like that. I'll have to see if I can find out that information. I haven't asked that information myself. I was planning on going to prom this year to help you guys out too. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there, and I am also gonna start working on getting some health professionals. I might actually be able to get my brother on here. He is a counselor, and he's working in Houston, which is also on lockdown right now. But he is also doing counseling with drug abuse patients online. And I haven't asked him how that's working out yet. But I'm going to try and get my brother on here to kind of talk to you guys about social and emotional well-being. And we're going to try and figure this out together. Because I think I'm just as depressed as you guys are. I think that in general, this whole situation just sucks, man. We're a very social people. Even introverts are struggling right now. I do have a brother, yes. My brother is 34. He'll be 34 this year, I think. I don't know. You get to a certain age, you quit counting years. I turned 21 a long time ago. Let's just say that. All right. But yeah, I'll get my brother on here, and we'll try and do that. I'm also going to try and get another doctor on here, too, to kind of talk about the actual science of the coronavirus. So that will be upcoming, and we'll have that all on the same IG Live. Yeah, right? I did have to think about it. You're right. So, yeah, my brother is 3 or 4 years younger than me. I was born in 83. He's born in 86. So he's 3.5 years younger than me. I'm in January. He's in September. All right. You guys have anything else before I go? Is the pandemic going to get worse? You know, I think modeling wise, from the CDC and Johns Hopkins University, and also some other universities around the world that are actually tracking, doing viral tracking, they're talking about that we reach a plateau, at least in the United States. But what does a plateau look like? You know, that's the thing. And I think that people like talking about, well, this is a plateau. Well, a plateau basically just means that we've capped out on the highest number of hospitalizations that we're going to have in one day, not necessarily deaths. You have to remember, and I'll kind of draw this out for you guys. So if this is a time, okay, our hospitalizations are peaking here, right? So let's say this is December of 2020, okay? And this was January of 2020, right? So this is over the course of a year, right? Okay. So these are hospitalizations, meaning that if we are at, let's say May, right here, May, June, July, this is April. This is about where we are, y'all, right here. We're about right here. I still think we have a little bit further to go in the up direction. This is hospitalizations. Now, the mortality rate for this thing has consistently been between 4 and 6%, meaning that 4 to 6 people out of 100 will die of corona. Okay? In the grand scheme of things, 4 to 6% of people dying from corona is not a lot of people, because in order to die from it, you had to be infected by it, right? And worldwide right now, I think there's like 1 million people who are infected, something like that. Now, I haven't looked at the numbers, but there's like 1 million people. So of that, we're talking between 40 and 60,000, okay, dying. Now, as you know, the numbers are higher than that, aren't they? Okay, we're at about 156K, which means that this number right here has to be somewhere between 1.5 and 1.7 million in reality. Okay? So if there's 1.7 to 2 million people worldwide, then we should be able to expect between 50,000 and 200,000 deaths worldwide. And that's about where we are. Okay? Now, one of the things I keep hearing about people wanting to lambaste Trump on, Trump likes to talk out the side of his face. However, he's doing the best job he can. Just like Boris Johnson in England, just like, what's that dude's name over in France? I can't remember his name. Justin Trudeau up there in Canada. I think they're doing the best job that they can at trying to isolate these problems. Okay? So if this is the hospitalization rate, that means that, guess what? The death rate doesn't peak until about here. Okay? It's a movement in this line. It's a movement in this curve. And this is why when doctors talk about, or the CDC talks about the plateau is not happening here. The death plateau, where you start seeing a decrease in hospitalizations, but still an increase in deaths, okay, this is deaths, is because of the fact that these people are starting to get better while some of these people are dying, okay? And that's why you see that these lines do not exactly match up, okay? That's what's happening. You learned this last year about migration. And you also learned this about population curves. Y'all remember that? You remember we had 3 different types of curves. So we had one curve that was like this that moved to the right. We had another curve that amplified, right? It became bigger in the middle. And then we had a third curve that actually created a dip in the middle, right? And these are about population sizes, okay? So this one is moving to the right, this one is moving higher, and this one is moving higher on the extremes and lower in the middle, okay? Right now, The way that this is moving is we're looking just like this. This is called population drift or genetic drift. And genetic drift is what actually allows for decreases in hospitalizations and increases in deaths until those deaths are mediated by death or by some type of intervention, meaning that they were helped by a doctor. Okay? So that's kind of what's going on. All right? I hope that kind of explains to you the science behind what's actually happening right now. But this one is actually called coronavirus. And coronavirus is a specific type of virus. It looks like a sun. The word corona comes from sun. And it's very circular in shape, okay? And it's got these little glycoproteins that kind of come off of it, little sticky proteins. And those glycoproteins are what actually stick to the ACE2 receptors inside the lungs. ACE stands for angiotensin. Stick with me here. This will make sense. Angiotensin converting enzyme. Do you know what happens whenever you utilize the angiotensin converting enzyme? Your blood pressure goes up. Your heart rate goes up. And in addition to this, if this is locking into this and going ahead and using that angiotensin, think of tension, right? Like stress, then you're going to have a higher blood pressure, a higher heart rate. In addition, that makes your respiratory rate increase. And because that happens, what are you doing now? You're breathing in more coronavirus, and this infection gets significantly worse, which is why they talked about people having to wear masks out there. There's like a protein protection for the inside and the outside proteins for the outside. Yes. So the actual genetic information actually goes right here in the middle. That's where the genetic information goes. Right there. Okay? And I haven't studied this one real close, but I will tell you this. If you know somebody who's on an ACE inhibitor, okay, I am on an ACE inhibitor. I take lisinopril. Another one might be Zestoril. Zestoril is lisinopril with a water pill, like a hydrochlorothiazide. Okay? Ribosomes help it reproduce quickly. I'm sorry you have a headache. That sucks. Yeah, so the ribosome. So here's the thought behind this, okay? And now we're getting into conspiracy theories type stuff here, right? So this virus right here, one of the more interesting things about it is it has 4 sequences. 4 sequences from HIV. Now, that's not possible to happen without somebody physically inserting those genetic sequences from HIV into the coronavirus. This had to have happened in a laboratory somewhere. This would not have happened. You're telling me that a bat came across an HIV infected something. Please stop. Dad. What? And mated. Open the door. Which produced. Dad. Hold on a second. Which produced a bat HIV hybrid. Right? Are you for real? Like, think about that for a second. Yes. What's up?
Can you watch it to me meeting?
Okay, yes I will. Hold on a second.
Dad.
What?
I want to go back and play Sims.
Do I think that they're withholding it? Yes, I do. Okay, guys, I'm getting a warning on my time here. I've got a minute left, so we'll pick this conversation back up on Wednesday. Call your friends, text your friends. Don't see them because you might get corona. But show back up, and we'll talk some more about this on Wednesday. Okay. Have a great day. Peace.